My name's Riz Malik, Director of R3 Mortgages, and today I'm going to talk about an announcement that was made at the Conservative Party conference that's got some first-time buyers very excited. In today's speech, Prime Minister Boris Johnson spoke about his desire to create 2 million more homeowners in the UK. And one of the ways that he mentioned that this was going to be possible was with the return, and I will come to that in a minute, of low deposit mortgages, and he specifically made reference to going up to 95% of the property value. As a result of the COVID pandemic, and understandably because of the uncertainty about the future of the housing market and the fragility of the economy, a lot of lenders removed or limited their low deposit mortgage ranges. Therefore, currently, to be able to buy a property, you may need to put down more of a deposit than you would have done before the COVID pandemic, with everything else being equal. Boris's speech today talked about the ability to put down smaller deposits. Now, that's obviously got a lot of first-time buyers excited, because one of the biggest obstacles of purchasing a property in the UK is the time it takes to save to get that deposit, so you can put your deposit with the bank's money to be able to purchase the property. With the return of low deposit mortgages, ultimately, if that would mean that the lender would be having most of the risk of the property on their books. So let's say hypothetically I'm a mortgage lender and I lend 95% of the property value of the property, and the client themselves puts in 5%. And let's say in the future the property market turns and prices start going downwards. If the value of that property goes down by over 5%, the property is going to be in a situation of negative equity, i.e. the value of the property is going to be less than the value of the debt outstanding to it. And that's not a good place to be, and that's definitely not a position that any lender wants to be in. In the current market, we're seeing a lot of activity, and this has come from main two key places, I would say. Number one is because of pent-up demand during the COVID lockdown that's now being released on the market, and number two is Rishi Sunak's stamp duty holiday, which means that there's the potential to save money on stamp duty land tax for transactions, residential transactions that conclude before the 31st of March 2021. Now, because of this, that's put a lot of pressure on lenders, and lenders generally are much busier and are struggling to cope with the demand for their services, because from their perspective as well, a lot of them are having to comply with the social distance rules and regulations. A lot of their staff may be working from home. Generally, it is taking a lot longer to process a mortgage application than it previously would have done. So in those scenarios, what do people do? Well, there's one way to curb the amount of business a lender receives, and that's either to change the criteria or to alter their rates. But some lenders are finding that even if they increase their rates at the moment to curb the amount of new business coming through the doors, they're still getting a similar amount of business coming through. So how does a 95% mortgage and Boris's comments feed into the current environment? I personally cannot see how that would happen at the moment with where we are and against the current economic backdrop. And I certainly can't see banks agreeing to that themselves and carrying the risk on their own books, so to speak, without some form of government support or guarantee. But the devil is in the detail, like everything, and at the moment we don't have that detail. So although the announcement has been made, until the mechanics are revealed, it's going to be very difficult to see how that's actually going to transpire in the mortgage market. Therefore, if I was a first-time buyer and I heard the announcement today, I wouldn't expect that to be in place anytime soon. I could be wrong, but I just can't see it with where we are at present. My name's Riz Malik, Director of R3 Mortgages, and I hope you found this informative, and I shall speak to you soon.